So, hi everyone, I'm back. We're back. And this has been a few days. And you see right through it to the underneath. It's not quite smooth, but the instructions on the bottle say, yes, I read those. You got to sand it with 60 grit to get all this fuzz off there. So, we're going to do that first. And hold on a second, I forgot my extension cord. And we're back. Now I want to show you this up close just so you can see. Hopefully the camera will pick up the look of that. Not the most interesting thing you've seen, but I just want you to see what it looks like now. And then we'll do an after pick. This should only take a minute. Okay, now you notice all the fuzzy areas are gone. That's important to get that off. Comes off real easy. That's 60 grit sandpaper they recommend for that. I assume that's good enough for the top. I've never done this before with this material. And just so you know, I'm not promoting this material or advertising. I bought it. It came recommended for the purpose. So we're trying it out together for the first time to see how it all goes. This material here we used before worked out nice. I like the fact that it's more uniform, doesn't have all the bumps in it that you usually get from stranded fiberglass. This is stranded fiberglass. I don't have a piece of the other stuff around. I'll get one. There, this stuff here is what most people are familiar with when they think about fiberglass. There is a type that's a little smoother that has cross grain to it, and more or less goes that way. In fact, now that I'm looking at this, I think that's what this is. I kind of bought that without knowing it. But you see, it's more like a heavy-duty blanket. You use that for strength. But if you want a smooth surface and you don't want to spend too much money, you move on to this material here. This is, you can see it's just random strands. It breaks apart, but once the epoxy is on it, it gets much tougher. But this makes it really easy to form around different shapes, curves, and things like that. Whereas when you use this, you go around a compound curve, it tends to bunch up and you wind up cutting it, and it's kind of a pain to get it right. And sometimes you don't. You just fill it with chopped fiberglass to make up the holes. But it's very strong, so you definitely want some of that in your boat. All right, so we're gonna mix this now. It's the same ratio as the stuff we glued that down with. 7 drops for every ounce of this material here. So let's make sure there's no crud in here. And there is, of course. Just dried up stuff from before. Because if it wasn't so cheap, I'd buy a new container, right? All right. That should do it. And once again, we got to kind of guess at this. We don't need 4 ounces of it, but I could mix it and put some on the boat in the other room. Let's start with 2. Okay, it has a sealed lid on it with no tab, so you can't open it very easily. That's why God invented Swiss Army knives. Put that down. Oops, you know what else I should do? Rubber gloves. The stuff does have a real chemical smell to it, so if you're chemically sensitive, if you're real chemically sensitive, you shouldn't do it at all. But you should wear some kind of a gas mask, or at very least a dust mask. I'm setting a bad example because I want to talk to you. Lousy gloves. I'm going to have to get a different pair. Look at that. Okay. Stop complaining. Let's go. 2 ounces. That look like 2 ounces to you on 4, sort of. And this is the catalyst, or some people would call it hardener. Let's see how that works. 7 drops per ounce. Ooh, I almost got 4 there, so we'll do 4 times 7 is 28. It's a little less than 4, so we'll do maybe 26. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That would be for 3 ounces, 2, 3. Okay. That's one part of this I think perhaps needs improvement, is to make it easier for people to measure it. It's easy to make a mistake on that. Now I'll just stir it all around. Make sure it's thoroughly mixed, which isn't too hard when you've got small quantities. Make sure you have a very professional stirring stick like I have right here, fresh out of the wood pile. Clean all of it off. This is supposed to smooth the surface of this. That's the idea. And you can gel coat over it or just paint. So far, I want to get all loose particles off of there. My decision so far has been to paint it, but we're gonna see. I'm doing this, using this material for the first time, and we won't know till it dries exactly how it's all gonna go, what it will look like. We'll have to do a session on gel coating. I want to learn how to do that. I've never done it before. I've done things like this, not this, but things like it, but never gel coat. I suppose the idea behind this is it just fills in all the little divots and cracks. It must be self-leveling. You can do more than one coat. You can do one coat of this too if you want more strength or harder finish, but this is a kayak. It's not a fishing trawler. It's not going to get smashed around too bad. It has fiberglass, the woven fiberglass on the back side of it too, so it's more than strong enough as is. Seems so far to be just like the other stuff. Not seeing any real difference. It's not soaking in because the other stuff has already done that for us. It's supposed to be at least 70 degrees to do this. And up to 95. Tell you the truth, if it was 95 degrees, I wouldn't want to be doing this. The fumes would be just nasty. And I'd rather be swimming in the river anyway. Do the edges. Cover up the ply. And there we have it. Looking at it right now, my guess is it's going to need another coat, but we'll see. There's no recommendation on how thick to put it on there. And if too thick is going to make it dry poorly, I don't know. I do like the long drying time on this though. If you ever worked with like Bondo or Interlux epoxy or Marine Tex, you get about 15 minutes and even like 10 minutes in, it starts to get kind of hard and it's very difficult to apply it. I like things that take a while, except that allows dust and things to settle on them, but it's pretty clean in here right now. So that's not going to be a problem. So that's it for that. I'm going to go put some on the kayak in the other room in that sheet I did the other day, which is where we left the last video. And bring this up close so you can see what I see. And we'll take a look at it at the beginning of the next video and we'll see how it's settled in. Looks to me like it's going to need more. I can still see a lot of bumps and things like that, but we'll see. Maybe it changes. Okay, so since I had this batch of material all made up, well, you know what I didn't do? I did not sand that. Important part done. In this little experiment here, we'll find out how this stuff handles, how it drips. So we're going to start on the other side where we can't see much. I'm guessing this is going to take a couple of coats of this stuff. That's what I think right now, but we'll see. I can feel it starting to get a little thick. It's starting to cure. But maybe that's a good thing. It'll stand up better and show the cracks. Well, that's why you gotta do these things in little bits. And sometimes you find things out that aren't in the instructions that you can work with and actually do better. I know that from 45 years of doing carpentry and woodworking. There's a lot of things that you're supposed to do, but then when you do them, you find out you can modify it and do even better. You start with the black box diagram and you work out. Develop your own ways of doing things. It is possible to improve on the old family recipe. Those magic marker marks on there. Hope they don't come through the paint. Okay. That's the hardest part, to get around there with the fiberglass and treatments and have it look nice. Just to get the edge. Do that. That's that. 4 ounces of this stuff goes a long way because it doesn't soak in, so I've learned that today. It's the same as the other one though. You can still see all the ripples in it from the fibers. Definitely going to be a 2-coat deal with it. But it depends on what you want too. Like I'm trying to fix this up so it looks nice. I'll give it a test run when I finally get it done. Make sure she's seaworthy and ship shape. Then I intend to sell it. In case you're wondering what this is right here, this is a Chesapeake 17 Kayak. The kits cost about $1,200 these days. And it takes about 3 full weeks to complete one. If you have all the right tools, maybe longer if you're borrowing tools and making it up as you go and never built anything before. So my son and I were lucky enough. We got 2 of these. They were left outdoors. This one was the worst of the 2. I'll kind of flash a picture in this video of what it looked like when I started. And there's another one outdoors that's in better shape. And I'm going to sell one of them, keep one, because my son has another one outside that he built. And then we can go out together. And that's it. We're going to see how it dries. Thanks for tuning in.